My name is Jan Wilson. My designation today is community member. Excuse me. I'm very happy with that because I think that's what I always have been. I was an only child, which may or may not have contributed to my need to belong to a community. I have an OBE in life, and some of you will know this, over bloody 80. Not all of you did. I turned 80 in March. And I better put my glasses on. I grew up in Brighton, long before it became Brighton, an outer suburb of Melbourne, recovering from the Second World War. It was a different world, a different era. We entertained ourselves. I have many happy memories, about 10 of us kids, boys and girls, playing in the street, literally on the street, occasionally stopping for cars. We played football, cricket, tennis, roller skating, hiding in the dark as we got older. We learned to ride our bikes. We had our own little community. There was an oval down the street, but we were happy in our little play area. We all went to the same primary school. We walked to school. At school, the girls played netball and rounders, and the boys cricket and football. Things changed a bit when we went to secondary school. Some went to high school and some to tech, and we rode our bikes. I was at high school, and we rode our bikes from high school in Hampton back to Brighton for sewing classes. I'd been to Brighton School number 2048, which is still there, and at that time was actually part of the Melbourne Orphanage, but I'm not even going to go into that. Back for sewing classes, and both boys and girls rode their bikes on Friday afternoon, can you believe this, to Brighton Baths, down South Road for swimming classes. Unsupervised, we were very brave little people. We stopped playing in the street, but we still walked to the movies in Middle Brighton for matinees, and later, as we grew up, for evening shows. In summer, we rode our bikes to the beach or to nearby tennis courts. I learned hockey and softball and joined an athletics club. Sport became a Saturday afternoon activity. I also became the proud owner of a horse and became part of a very different group, those who rode and showed horses and belonged to a pony club, another community. Then came tertiary education, another change of companions. We travelled by train and later, very daring, by motor scooter. I played with the uni hockey club. My new and old friends started to go to live theatre. I learnt to play squash. After a stint away from teaching, I went back to teaching at McKinnon High School, which is now McKinnon Secondary College. Here, students and staff played together in Saturday afternoon and twilight hockey teams. We had student-staff matches. At 40, I gave up hockey to play golf, and some teaching colleagues introduced me to sailing. The golfing community is totally consumed by golf. We can spend hours after a game of approximately 2.25 hours describing over a cuppa in the clubhouse every stroke we made, every bunker we went into. Some of you are nodding, I can see that. I retired from full-time teaching at age 55, thank you, Mr. Kennett, but I didn't retire from life and living. In fact, most retired people will tell you there isn't enough time to do everything, and that's what you guys are trying to hook into. Main activities now became social golf, sailing and travelling in Australia and overseas. Catching up with friends for lunch or dinner, any excuse for a good meal and a nice wine. I did part-time paid work and voluntary work. In my late 50s, I took up line dancing, another community. In my early 60s, I joined 2 YWCA 9-hole golf clubs and started going to an exercise class run by a physio. At age 62, I had a heart attack. I thought life as I'd known it was over. Wrong. Fantastic rehab at what was then the Hampton Rehab Hospital opened my mind to the fact that life as I had known it wasn't over. It took about 2 years for me to realise that I could continue with all my social and physical activities. In other words, get on with life. So I did. A drive with a friend from Exmouth in northern Western Australia to Perth via Monkey Mia was the living proof. So that's me. That's exercise. Why do I exercise now? With that background of exercise, I wasn't going to sit around and do nothing. I play 9 holes of golf twice a week with YWCA clubs. We sit with our 4 after golf and socialise. I'm captain at one of the clubs, only by default because nobody wants to do it. I go to an exercise class once a week at the local community house. This is followed by, of course, coffee and gossip. I'm a committee secretary at the community house, and guess what? We socialise after monthly meetings as well. And everybody on that, except the manager of the community house, would be well into, and the local member of parliament, would be well into their 60s, 70s, and I guess I'm the old one. Oh no, there's another one. She's about 83. Occasionally I go to the local pool for some non-weight-bearing exercise. I'm tempted to rejoin a water aerobics class, haven't done it. I spend time at Phillip Island, where walking is a pleasure, except in the middle of winter. I go to the golf driving range. I do brain exercises on my iPad. Catch up with friends at least once a month for lunch or dinner. I read and do crosswords, and I don't cheat. I haven't got the answers, but I do cheat because I can look up crossword solver on the iPad, so, you know. Mainly I get them out. I go to the movies, live theatre and concerts. I visit my physio several times a year, including tomorrow, as my ageing tendons need attention. I do the exercises given to me by my physio twice a day, most days. Why is sport and physical activity important? Use it or lose it. This applies to physical activity, mental activity and social activity. I've always enjoyed being active and mixing with others in social and sporting settings. As a youngster, you take for granted the advantages of physical, mental and social activities. Now I can see all around me the health benefits of keeping the body moving or keeping the mind active and socialising with others. At our Y golf clubs, and I'll cut this short and talk quickly, at our Y golf clubs we've got a number of 90 plus women who we encourage to, if they can't play, to come down, have a cuppa. There's one 90-year-old, and I'm going to call her Agnes. She has been coming on our yearly trip down to Rosebud Golf Club to play some social golf down there, 2 nights, 3 days. Just recently we called for interest for next year's trip, and she came up to me with a twinkle in her eye and said, "Is it still okay for me to come with you to Rosebud again next year?" The answer, of course, was yes. I'm happy to pick her up and drive her down. On one of the trips she said to me, "This is my holiday." She is a widow living alone. She does have a big family who keep an eye on her, but she wants to stay a member of our golfing community where she's loved and respected by all club members. Do I have any advice for you, the participants in this forum? Don't stop all the positive, inclusive work that you do. Keep us oldies participating in the 3 A's, the 3 activities, physical, mental and social. We have retired from work, not from life. We need positive reinforcement, but beware of not sharing the praise around. Sometimes you'll hear, "Oh, you're doing a fantastic job." Everyone else is, "Oh, God, you're going well." Everybody likes a pat on the back, but make the praise genuine. We don't need to be told good work if it isn't. We can tell the difference. Believe it or not, continue to theorise, innovate, research, practice in your chosen area of expertise. Our ageing community needs you to keep us active. Thank you.